How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, I've seen y'all before. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
Thanks. I'm Ria. This is Fran.
Hello.
Andrea, nice to meet you.
Nice
Nice
to
to
meet
meet
you.
you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We're super excited.
No, likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. We're just going to get started right away if that's good with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Amazing.
All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by Jeremiah from Love Island, USA. We are so excited to talk to you, Jeremiah. Obviously, a shocking dumping from the villa. As viewers, we were shocked and appalled. How are you feeling right now, most importantly?
Right now, it's a lot of like the first day I got dumped, it was a lot of like anger. I'm not gonna lie, but now it's just gratitude. I'm just happy to be here. Like this whole experience has been amazing. So right now I'm feeling good. I can't lie. Like
Yeah.
it's been good.
It's funny you say gratitude. I don't know if you saw Maya, a clip now is going viral of her saying gratitually. So now that's what we're going with instead of gratitude. We're using gratitually. Have you seen all of the episodes and do you have your phone back?
No, I don't have my phone, and I watched like two episodes and skimmed through the rest just to see how like accurate it is. And they do a really, really good job of like they can make a 3 hour conversation like 3 minutes and it'll still be like accurate. So I was like really surprised.
Wow. So do you think watching some of those parts back, most of the conversations we saw, or like more of this serious conversation we saw that you were a part of, you felt like were good representations of those conversations?
Yeah, it would be like me trying to like problem solve and then fuck you, and then yeah, so it was it was pretty accurate. I'm just kidding, but no, it was pretty accurate. I can't lie.
Yeah, we did see a lot of that. And obviously, with your dumping, we didn't really get to see deliberations or why
Mhm.
the guys decided this. While you were standing there, were you able to
Yeah.
hear any chatter or anything that they were talking about? Was it as shocking to you?
Honestly, it was because I thought I was like closer with them. Pepe was a bombshell, so they might pick me to save me because I'm an OG. And I love Austin to death, but he hasn't really found anything in 3 weeks. So I was like, oh, I might be safe. But honestly, I had a feeling. I was like, this is gonna be their chance to take me out because I had just started hooping again with the new bombshell. So I was like, okay, they may take me out. And then during Taylor's speech, they were like, they don't want to rob anyone's chance of the villa, like talking about Austin or like. Goddamn, we don't want him to repeat the same mistakes. I was like, oh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. I was like, I just
Do,
accepted my fate.
do you think, and we saw it too afterwards, like in that next episode, when Taylor was kind of trying to explain the vote of like, they felt that you were going to do the same
Yeah,
thing that you
yeah.
did with Huda. What was it like hearing that? And did you think you were doing the same thing with Andrea that you were with Huda?
Nah, not at all. Cause like, yeah, we kissed and soul ties, we kissed a couple times, but in Love Island, like that's nothing. Like the other intimacy is a way different level. And we talked like 2 or 3 times about being friends first, best friends first. Like we reiterated it so many times, me and Angelina, that I was like, oh, I'm cool. And then I told the guys that multiple times, like, yeah, we're kissing, but we're doing it right. Like we're
Mm.
like y'all hooping, I'm here to play, whoop de whoop, and they're just like, nope. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shit, damn, I tried.
Yeah, it did feel like with the guys, you almost couldn't win because we
Yeah,
saw with Huda, there was a lot of toxic fighting going on, a lot of back and forth, and you sort of broke that cycle with Iris. When
yeah.
when America voted to break you and Huda up and couple you up with
Mhm.
Iris, was that a big factor for you in taking a step back? Do you think you would have continued on the path with Huda if you didn't hear some outside opinion there?
No, that's really what like that's an amazing question because like when that happened, I was like I already had a bunch of thoughts in my head, but I liked her so much. I was like, like, we can fix this, we can fix this. But when that happened, I was like, oh shit. And I think that's why it was so hard for me to go and comfort her because I'm like, oh, maybe I need to like totally leave this alone. So yeah, when America chose that, I was like, okay, like that was a big wake up call for me, and it kind of like shook everything that I've been thinking.
But part of you still wanted to be with Huda and figure that out?
Yes. Yeah, that's why I talked to her twice to see if we could conflict resolute
Mhm.
after that, and it was not going for it. So yeah, but I tried 2 more times after that, and I was like, okay, yeah, time to, break the
Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah.
Everything moves so fast in Love Island. Of course, it's at warp speed compared to how anybody dates in real life. But dating
Yes.
in real life for you, are you somebody that normally takes it slower at the beginning, or do you move kind of quickly because it felt like watching from the show and the other contestants too felt like, oh, no matter, Jeremiah's going to move quickly no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's funny because I'm the opposite. Like my first and only relationship, like we started talking in January and didn't date till August. So it was like 8 months of talking before dating. But this, like, it was just like a time chamber, and then we got, intimate really quick. So it just kind of we just kind of skipped a lot of steps of friendship and went, thrown into that. So
Yeah.
I definitely don't move like that out in the real world, but it kind of just happened. And I was like, oh, okay, fuck it.
Yeah, because there has been a little bit of conversation online. Some people are divided. They're throwing out the term love bombing and, oh, do we think Jeremiah was doing some love bombing? And we even saw Huda bring that up on TV. How would you respond to somebody saying that you were love bombing?
In my humble opinion, I think love bombing is like buying a bunch of gifts or doing a bunch of crazy shit like in the beginning, and all I did was just talk. Like I ain't get her no flag. I didn't get her flowers, a car, no
No
jewelry. So
protein, no protein either.
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna
it's,
say
it's like
you barely
I
you
didn't get her
barely handled
water.
breakfast.
Yeah, I
Breakfast
was
is
getting
the
her
bare
undercooked
minimum.
literally, yeah, I was getting her undercooked pancakes. So I don't know if you can call that love bombing, but in my opinion, no, I was not love bombing. I don't think people know, not to be rude, but like that definition, in my opinion, is like a bunch of gifts, etc., like big events in the beginning of a relationship. So I don't think I did that.
It
Yeah.
does feel like the definition has been like loosely thrown out more and more these days. And
Yeah.
at the beginning of this season, we did hear you talk a little bit about your prior relationship, and you had
Mhm.
talked about, cheating on your past relationship and how you worked on yourself and grown from that. Can you talk
Yeah.
about a little bit of the work that you did that, made you feel like, I'm going to go into Love Island and I'm going to use what I learned and sort of, use it in this situation?
Yeah, 1,000%. It was like a month into my first relationship. I cheated and I like had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, yo, I thought I was this big, amazing guy, great brother, son, whatever. And I was like, how could I make, this mistake? So then I've been in therapy for almost 2 years now. And really the work was just like, first it was like why I made the mistake, and then it's like, all the tools of like self-trust. I think that's why I was so patient in the show because I rather like take an extra day to talk about something than or leave early. So I think that's why like I stayed like not too long, but I was like, okay, let me really try to hear you out and get to know you just so I don't make any like mistakes,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that also came into play with the amount of times you and Huda did try to sit down and work things out? Because I think for America, it's probably factored into a lot of the votes. Was it like, oh my God, it's so they keep talking to each other, but it's so clearly over. Like, was there a part of you saying, you know what, I want to be able to talk this out and get to a neutral place?
No, that's a great question. And for me, it's like I love to critically think, and some of the sleep that we had, I was not able to do that. So I had to take an extra day or two. Like there was times when I'm watching it back, like, bro, get up, run, leave, leave. But in the moment, I'm like, damn, I can't know if I'm not even in the right, but just like, am I seeing things clearly? So that's why it looks like I take an extra day or extra couple conversations because
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm seeing it through because I'm tired. Like I just want to make sure, like, oh, am I really in the right or wrong here? Like that's basically what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the viewers had a lot to say about your guys' relationship, and the people in the villa and the guys had a lot to say about your relationships, your couplings, how you were moving in the villa. I
Yeah.
want to know Jeremiah's thoughts on some of the couples because, people had a lot of opinions about you. What are your opinions about some of the couples like Taylor and Alandria and Ace and Shelley, maybe Nick and Sierra? How do you feel, where do they stand to you?
Honestly, I think they're pretty strong couples, regardless of what I think about them personally. Like, honestly, I like the couples. It's funny though, because they're all day one or day two couples too. Like Taylor and Alandria first pick. Before Ace got stolen, it was Ace and Shelly, and then night two, Sierra and Nick. So they're all day one, day two couples as well. So honestly, I think they're all pretty strong. From what I see, they really like each other. So to keep it a stack, like regardless of personal opinions, like they all look pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. And did any part of you go, okay, well, maybe Taylor, you haven't really explored much either?
Yeah, the thing it was a losing. It was an uphill. It was like a 1v3, and I'm just like, but Hannah and Pepe, but Charlie and Hannah, and it was just like no matter what I did, it wasn't enough. So I kind of just did my own thing and was like, fuck it. If I get voted out doing my own thing, then that's what it
Where
is.
Yeah.
what do you think that stemmed from? Like where from the guys originally? Because I know it was easy for them to point the fingers at your relationship with Huda and kind of blame it
Yeah,
all on that. But at
yeah.
any point, did it feel like it was more of a personal level of like, I don't know if maybe these boys and I are getting along and it's just about that?
Yeah, it's tough because we definitely had like some arguments with the guys that some were shown, some weren't. But like at the end of the day, like we hung out all the time. Like we had amazing vibes. Like we'd make up basketball. Like we used beanbags for basketball. We'd play ping pong for hours. We'd cook for each other. So there was a lot of love there. And I think I realized during like the voting, I was like, okay, like at the end of the day, it is a game show. So if I am a strong contestant in their eyes or whatever you want to say, like it makes sense why they voted me out. So I don't. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I felt a lot of betrayal, but it's like
Hmm.
at the end of the day, they did the strategic thing to do, so I can't
Right,
even.
right. Nick had a moment with you that we saw of, trying to give you
Oh,
some
yeah.
love in the bedroom, like, you're like my best friend, the whole thing. Is it hard hearing him say that to you and then also kind of watching him, what seems to us to sort of listen to whatever Ace is telling him to do?
No, 1,000%. Like, yes, I love you, but it's like if you let another, like, I don't know how to word this. If you know, let another person tell you what to do, it kind of just like not breaks my heart, but I'm just like, damn, homie, you're gonna say you're my best friend, you love me, but then let like someone else tell you what to do. That I
Yeah.
just can't get. But yeah.
Hmm. Do you feel like there was a leader in that vote, or do you think it was kind of a group decision?
I mean, of course, I'm gonna like that's the thing about Ace. Like, he is a leader. Like, he's hilarious. Like, he great dancer and all that. Like, a great just personality to keep it a
Hmm.
stack. But then, yeah, like what at the end of the day, like it was kind of like whatever he said, Nick and Taylor would do
Hmm.
respectfully. And it's just like I would like to say it was probably I would hope to say Nick kind of fought a little bit for me, but I mean that's just like
Hmm.
maybe my heart saying that. But honestly, I have no clue because they could just. I just know like whatever they say happened, it was probably just like they wanted to get me out of there. It wasn't
Hmm.
like repeating some
Yeah.
mistakes. But
Right.
You mentioned strategy, like, and like the
yeah.
strategic move. That's been a big talk with viewers this
Mm.
season, because we're watching Casa right now. They changed up Casa a lot from previous
Oh,
seasons.
Hmm.
okay.
And just like the setup, basically everybody was recoupling. They were doing these new things. And it seemed like maybe those could have come in because it felt like maybe some more gameplay happening than we're normally used to. Did you feel like there were other contestants kind of strategizing on maybe trying to make it to the end?
Not making it to the end. It was just a lot of like,
It was just
this
like
is what you
stay
like.
alive and yeah.
Yeah, it was like talk to everybody, don't get close to anybody. This is how you play the game. I don't think really strategizing, unless like having a plan A and plan B strategizing. That's what most of them did. But I think that's just what you do on the show. Because I don't know too much about it. Like I only watched 3 episodes before I went on, just so I could go in with the like a
Hmm.
blank slate. But yeah.
Yeah, because there has been talk about, oh, is this couple just locking in for the money in the end? And it
Mm.
seems like, a lot more talk even from the Islanders, like always mentioning now America and America wants this and America's voting that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
it is interesting to see all that unfold. Going back to Huda for a minute, obviously, it's probably for
Mm.
you a little bit beaten down at this point because it's all
No, it's all
anybody's
good.
talked about. But you did say that you still liked her, but you moved on from it. You broke this
Yeah.
toxic cycle that you guys had. If,
Mhm.
say, Huda leaves this show with no other connection, is there any chance in the real world that you would maybe have a conversation with her and see if you guys had something on the outside, or are you just like, no, this is clearly not healthy?
Respectfully, after watching it back and hearing some things she was saying that I wasn't even aware of, no, no, God, no. Respectfully, no, not at all. Nah. The stuff she'd be saying is just too much for me. That's just not how I communicate about a person. So
Hmm.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you feel about some of the name calling?
I'm not gonna lie, like, of course, like it affects me, like, because oh, I'm supposed to be strong and this and that, but it's like I really cared about her. So when you hear someone you care about talking you a bitch and F you, and
Hmm.
if he makes a shove in his face, it just hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like poor me, but it's just like, damn, that's how you feel?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next day trying to kiss me and get back together. So I'm just like, I
Yeah.
couldn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have like one big regret within that, situation that you wished you handled differently?
I wouldn't say it's a regret, but the issue was like we got too close too soon, and instead of saying, "Yo, let's take a break, let's pause," I liked her so much where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try to be Superman. Let me try to deliver on like this relationship that we didn't even like have. Like I was trying to be a boyfriend, and I don't know why looking back, but I was just trying to be Superman instead of saying, "Yo, like let's take a break." Not a break, but let's just slow things down.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
like the biggest thing I've ended up on.
Yeah, Rhea mentioned how it seemed like, America was being talked like it was such a part of the show. And in those moments where there were votes and you see Huda being like, does America hate me? Like, there's all these thoughts going on. I'd love to
Yeah.
know what was your headspace like after those moments? Because of course you're living in the villa, but in your mind, is it like, oh my God, am I gonna get out of here? Do these people not like
Yeah.
me? What have I been doing? Like, what was your headspace like then?
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I thought America could only vote at the end. So when they first said that, I was like, what the fuck? They can do that? I was so caught up. Yeah, when they put me with Iris, I was like, okay, they definitely see. Because first my ego was like, okay, she's toxic. But then I'm like, nah, it takes two. So I'm like, you know what? The relationship is just not working, whether it's my fault, her fault, our fault, whatever. So then that was like the first, like, oh shit, okay. But then when America chose to save her and not me versus when I got voted off, that's when I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm probably cooked. Because if America saved her and I'm not saved, I'm probably out of here. That's like the two things with
Yeah.
America that I thought.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you. I mean, everyone was shocked when
Yeah.
when you were sent home, and there were people being like, "Why didn't we vote for Jeremiah as one of our favorite?"
Uh,
Like people
that makes me
were
feel better.
upset with the way they voted and how it panned out in that way. And I think viewers really, honestly, wanted to get to know you more as a person because we saw
Yeah.
just a lot of fighting, and I think people were like, well, what are his interests? We saw videos of you doing like book reviews online and talking
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what would you say is Jeremiah's like top interests?
My top interest, I'm not gonna lie, would be like honestly, like it's pretty basic. It's like the gym, reading, hanging out with my friends, playing video games. I'm a big foodie. Like I love Yelp, so like every
Mm-hmm.
like once a week, once every 2 weeks, I'll try a new Yelp restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Just things like that. Family, like I'm huge. Like family is like my everything. Like my family is everything. So just hanging out with my family and just stuff like that, honestly.
Yeah, it's just great to hear some of your interests because I think that's what people were kind of like fighting for a little bit. They were like, well, we want to get to know
Yeah.
Jeremiah,
Right.
and we saw a little bit of that when you sort of created a friendship with Iris. And
Yeah.
I think, we were excited to see that friendship unfold. How did you know that was going to be not romantic and it was just going to be straight friendship?
I think honestly after our date, because it was an amazing date, like she's so funny and she was just like so healthy for me, like friendship or not. Like when I was with her, I just like that's when I started being joyous again. Because my baseline has always been joy, and when it wasn't that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta figure this out. But yeah, I think after our date, I was just kind of like, I'm still gonna pursue this because I want to, but it's like back in the back of my head, I'm like, she's awesome, but there's just not like crazy like romantic spark yet.
Mm,
So I just kind of like kept talking to her to see if it was there. And then when she came to me and it was like, I feel platonic, I was like, oh shit, me too. I'm glad you said it first. But no,
yeah.
that's my best friend for sure.
Yeah, it was nice to see that friendship build. And I think when you were pulled away from the drama a little bit, you got to
Yeah.
see more of that unfold. One of the bigger things towards the beginning obviously was the fact that Huda was a mom and she had to tell you that, and there were certain things
Yeah.
that, some contestants didn't know. I want to ask you about a specific moment where you
Okay.
guys were talking about it. I think it was you and was it Alandria? Who was it that it was like?
Alandria and
Yeah, and
Austin.
Austin. And
Yeah.
Austin was like, "Wait, she's a mom?" And you guys
Oh
were like,
yeah.
"Oh shit!" Like, how hard was it to kind of bite your tongue because certain people knew and certain people
Oh my
didn't know?
God. Oh, bro, for the most part, like we didn't talk about it for a grip because of just we just separated. Like it was like we talked about it a bunch, and then the recoupling, and then we barely talked because we were just trying to conflict resolute. But then when me and Olandra were talking about it, and we didn't forget Austin was there, but then she mentioned it, and Austin was like, "Wait, she has a kid." And I looked at Olandra, and we both had that moment. We're like, "Oh fuck!" But honestly, Austin is so like trustworthy that we weren't even like scared about him telling anybody because like one thing about Austin, like I know he's unhinged, but like when I was gone at the date, he was defending my name when I wasn't there, and that
Mm,
for that, that's like the biggest sign of loyalty ever. So
mm,
yeah, I
yeah.
just got nothing but respect for him.
Yeah.
Another conversation we saw was when you and Huda were at the water park and you guys had your one-on-one date, and you met,
Yeah,
you were talking about life after the villa, which I think is very natural to happen,
yeah,
because you are trying to see what kind of connection you can have after. But this seemed like
yeah,
it was hitting marks a little fast, like moving in together and moving to the
yeah.
same state and all of that. And then when Huda got back and was talking to the girls, she was like, "Yeah, he said that. Like, he wants to move in with me me sort of thing. And it seemed like the conversations weren't exactly matching. How did you
Yeah.
feel when that conversation was taking place? And your honest opinion on
Yeah.
where you think it could have went after the show if you continued the whole way?
I was looking at it like this, like if I'm gonna pursue this, like because we were already pretty deep, so I was like, if I'm gonna pursue this, I'm gonna make sure there's actually like a future here. So I'm not gonna be like give you my all in the show and then be like, oh, by the way, we're never gonna see each other after this, or you know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of just like not a what's next, but it's like, okay, the potential for after is there, so let me continue to pursue it. Even though it sounds crazy talking about those steps, it was kind of just like, okay, am I going to continue giving you my all, or is there's no point because we're never going to see each other after? It's kind of like that realm, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
Right,
sense.
right.
Now that you have done your first season of Love Island and your time was cut short, would you do it again?
Oh man, I got asked that. Oh man, honestly, I don't. It was such like an amazing experience through all the ups and the downs. Like the journey is the journey. Honestly, it depends. It really depends. It depends. Like you have to ask me that when it's going on, because yeah, probably I don't know. It
Yeah,
was amazing. I don't know though.
Yeah,
maybe after you get your phone back and
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the real world for a
Yeah.
second. That's what's crazy too now is you do get to watch and see how this all plays out. And I had mentioned, they kind of changed a little bit of Casa, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you know this or not, but at the end of the most recent episode, Alandria and Nick were seemingly sent home, and they ran into a car together, and it was like the end of the episode. It was like a hidden, they did a dumping in the villa and in Casa, and
Yeah.
everybody's upset, but they ran to a car together and they drove off. It was like a cliffhanger end of the episode. So we were like, oh my God, are they staying? Are they leaving? What's happening? There is a part of the internet right now that
Uh,
ships Nick and Alandria as a couple. Could you ever see that being possible?
I mean, I no, I don't know. They're good friends for sure, but
Mm.
honestly, I do not see, wow, no, sorry, I don't know what to say.
I know.
I was
I,
like, listen,
when I started that, I was like, I know that this is going to be a
Yeah.
lot to take in.
yeah, we love getting the Islanders' opinions for stuff that's happening from our side as viewers because this
Yeah.
has been going on the whole season where everyone's like Nick and Olandra are going to end up together. Like there's huge
Really?
shippers for them, but I got to be honest, it's not really based off of anything besides like a couple of like they've screenshotted like look, Nick is looking at Olandria in this scene.
Oh
Like
my
it's all
God.
it is
Or like a
spiraled.
couple challenges.
Right, a couple of challenges where they've made out,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but everybody's making out with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit, never say never though. That'd be crazy. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that'd be crazy.
That
I
was
know.
a perfect reaction because I think even we're like, huh?
yes, it's been very funny seeing like there's so many TikToks of girls showing me their TV screen. They're like, yes, they're gonna come back as a couple, and like this is how it's
Oh
gonna
my
go.
God.
So I mean, it's been very very crazy to see. You said you never really watched much of the show before. So what made you even want to go on Love Island?
Honestly, like I got the DM and I was like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun because I like wanted to act, but like I did like 4 months at acting classes and I was like, oh, this ain't really for me. But I've always wanted to be like a personality. Like I love just being myself. So then I sent my sisters a screenshot and they started freaking the hell out. And I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta do it. So that's really how it started. And I watched a couple episodes. And I was like, oh, this seems fun as hell. Like crazy, very out of my comfort zone. But there's nothing wrong with like. But I went in just trying to find a best friend and then like honestly like a girlfriend after. But yeah, we kind of
Yeah.
skipped the best friends.
Yeah. Was there any part of you during it where you were like, oh shit, I might be the main character?
Honestly, no. Like I realized like to keep it a whole stack, like when we were fighting, I'm like, bro, this probably looks so bad. I wasn't embarrassed, but I'm like, this is not my forte. I don't do the drama, the yelling. Like I don't like to yell at people or
Mm,
well, these girls, like I don't like to do all that. Like I'm just
yeah.
trying to keep it cool. So I was like low-key embarrassed. I was like, fuck, like that probably looks so bad.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, oh, I'm like, Ace and Nick and Taylor, our main character. I was just chilling. I honestly thought I was just chilling on the side, like just
Mhm.
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it did seem like you distance yourself a little bit when the confrontation comes up. And we saw that conversation that you had with Huda where, you bring up the fact that you want to start from the beginning again and be friends. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I took that conversation as if still wanted to continue on the path of a romantic relationship, but wanting to establish the friendship as well.
Exactly. It was basically like I don't know if like friendship was the right like way to go about it. I
Hmm.
just know I just told her like if there's still something there, what's the healthy slash right way we can continue
Yeah.
it. That's basically that. I was like, I want to see if there's something still here because obviously we had a crazy connection at the start, but how can you do that healthily? That's like
Yeah.
where I was coming from.
Hmm.
I'd love to know when you get the chance to reunite with the guys who
Yeah.
specifically the ones that voted you home. What's
Yeah.
the first thing you'd want to say or ask them?
Honestly, maybe just why didn't you say anything in the room? Because when Charlie and Jalen left, like they'd come in and say like we did this because of this, this, and this, but all I got was it wasn't personal and I love you. So I'd probably just ask like why didn't you tell me anything in the room? Because I wasn't gonna go in there and start being like
Yeah.
F you, F you,
Right.
why didn't you?
Yeah.
So I was just like I just expected them to say why they did it, but they didn't. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, oh, okay,
We have a very important last question, and that we're all dying to know. You have some of the most flawless skin I've ever seen.
oh.
We gotta know what the
Yeah.
we gotta know what the routine
What's the
is.
skincare routine?
Are you using products? At one point on the show, I thought you had foundation on.
Oh my God. No, thank y'all so much. Oh, now I'm blushing. Oh my goodness. Okay. I use the CeraVe foaming cleanser, the green one, like
They're
the
gonna
lime green
love
one.
this.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. And then for skin moisturizer, I use Vanic cream. It's like in a white and blue bottle. Those are like
Yeah.
my
Oh.
Yep.
Perfect.
And it works flawlessly for you.
Yeah. You're gonna be getting sponsorships after that.
Seriously, for real.
Well, I'm gonna add just one more on top of that. If there's a
Yeah.
reunion, are you gonna ask to see the deliberation tapes of why they voted you out and who leaded the pack?
Honestly, I want to say yeah, but then it might be so like many months in advance where I don't like care anymore.
Right.
But honestly, I'm using quotations a lot today. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah.
Uh, probably. I'll say probably because it might change if I'm like, oh, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But honestly, right now, I'd say yeah. Like I'm curious to see what they
Yeah.
say.
We want to see the tapes.
We want to.
we want to see the tapes.
Selfishly,
That's
that
why-
was us asking, so you can
Yeah.
ask, so we can see
Yeah,
them.
I'm pushing it on you to ask because we want them.
Exactly.
But
I got
thank you
you, I
so
got you.
much, Jeremiah. We really appreciate talking to you, and we
Thank
hope
you, Jeremiah.
we hope things are smooth sailing for you when you return to the real world. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
No, thanks so much for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah,
Like, it's
awesome.
Of course, yeah.
Great. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.